It's, you guessed it, time for another Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. Usually start a few minutes before the hour. Traffic and weather together, and so I can verify that we have sound, which we do. So I can mute that so you don't have to hear an endless loop throughout the show. That really brightens things up. In the very early days, I believe I did have shows where that was happening the entire time. Fun times. Those are still up. If that indeed did happen. Alrighty, and so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I started a little bit early and I put my links in the chat. For fun and profit. What up, Maddie Bags? Hashtag mention. Maddie is why that part is in the Baby Steppin' song. It's in my music playlist, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. Maddie breaking up my plug placement here in the chat, but that's okay. They, you know, if there's going to be anybody that does it, Maddie's a fine choice to do that. Alrighty, what time we got? 8. Get a little agua. I should maybe CP will design a Ramsey coach with Coach Steve Money. Designed for me, but you know, he's done the ones that you're seeing already, the circle right there and the banner, and so he's done that, and right. Interesting, Maddie. Saying sorry instead of being defensive. That's, I would say that's progress based just on that. What is it? If you need logos, my return by designed by Pittman at gmail.com. Well, she was both. She was short and she doesn't pay attention for both. These transfer your half day before a bill is due so it doesn't get spent. That's probably a good idea. The bank auto drafts it, so they draft it that every day. So yeah, you could double check behind her and you could pay attention for her and make sure, and then you can let her know if she doesn't have half of it in there. Also, you could check, and that way you'll know ahead of time if she'll be contacting you about that. There we go. My logo covering up the beautiful Christmas tree behind me. That's okay. And part of my donations link. That's all right too. All right. Oh, it's 7:01. Let's get started. How do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do a show? How do you do a show? I don't know. It goes live from Cabot, Arkansas. It's Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. And I guess I'll just get my plugs out of the way. They are in the chat. Now they're in front of you, and they're also in the video description below. I am Coach Steve Money, and I am a certified Ramsey Solutions financial coach, very important. Add Ramsey Solutions in there, not just some some Joe Blow off the street, but no, Ramsey Solutions. That's Dave Ramsey's company. You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track. You can do that at calendly.com/coach Steve Money. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel at coachdmoney@gmail.com. Oh, that coaching is video conferencing, so you can do that anywhere, from anywhere in the world. If you're watching this, then you probably have the ability to do video conferencing. It's very simple, very free. Channel donations go to coachdmoney@gmail.com. Channel donations go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. Upcoming streams is, what do we have? This show is called Ramsey Show, and this is most Saturdays, unless there's a game I want to watch on Saturday night, but most Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And other than that, there was already one Ramsey Show after show this month, but there's going to be another one on the 19th of December. And CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. You can email show and tell segments. It can be something Christmassy would be great, but anything like personal that you want to share. It doesn't have to, like a picture, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be anything too personal, but in some way related to you. And if you could just send a brief description or a couple of sentence or two about the picture, that would be great. And I share those on the Ramsey Show after show, and that airs right after the Ramsey Show video ends at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. A little bit after. It always goes a little bit over. Alrighty. We did that. So I guess we're going into the questions. Oh no, I'm going to plug my channel first. 688 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you that have done that. I have over 1,000 videos and live streams up. The latest video I put up was the George Camel song debut, and that was it's been around for a while as just a half a verse and then the chorus. Opened up YouTube, saw the thumbnail was camel. It's always fun with George on the panel, excuse me. Let's go to there. There we go. Now we can see the videos and the Oak Island. If you go down a little bit, Ramsey Coach said this show into the music playlist. Then you get the George Camel song, and like I said, it was very short, but I made it the complete song. And recorded it the other day. Messed up a couple of times. A lot of words. And then a lifestyle creep. Instead be a weirdo. And that part's a little, that's exactly like the song, except not saying I'm a weirdo. It's saying instead be a weirdo. But that's all about how lifestyle creep can get you, and to try to avoid it. The Baby Steppin' song, this is the one that Maddie Baggs is featured in with the let's see, what part is that from? It's based on Levitating by Dua Lipa. It is what is that? What the heck is the lyric? It's something every dollar. Like planning every dollar. It's not planning, but I'll just say planning because I can't remember that now. What is it? Planning every dollar, that's intention. What up, Maddie Bags? # mention. Do the steps let go of apprehension. Yeah. That's the little bridge part before the chorus starts. And so that's in the Baby Steppin' song. Jade Warshaw song. Jade fought Warshaw No, Det fought were Shaw and war. Shaw won, Det fought were Shaw and war. Shaw won. And I guess that's why we all watch Rachel Cruz for good advice that she learned in her youth. And that's a partial song as well, but I'm working on it. That may too become a full song by the 19th of December. And if so, I will debut the full Rachel Cruz song on there. Me reacting to John Deloney's reaction to the John Deloney song. How about that? And the actual John Deloney song that he was reacting to. And that is, what is that? Ooh, he's got 2 PhDs, 2 more than me. Plus, he's got some other certs, John Deloney. And of course, the original Baby Steps song. And that's if you want to have financial peace, you should do the baby steps. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. If you recognize that, it's because I didn't write that music. That was Ed Sheeran. And that was Justin Bieber originally singing that. Also, some good live songs from the 90s. My favorite band, Thrill Cat. That I recorded live with a camcorder in Virginia Beach. How about that? Oh, one of them in Norfolk, I think. The other one in Virginia Beach. And we have the Dave Ramsey After Show playlist. And as you can see, I've done 358 of those bad boys. The last one was on the 7th, just a few days ago. But I used to be able to do this every day, but now due to work, I can't do it every day and for it. So maybe that'll change at some point. Hope it does, because that is a blast to do. Get your own show. It's fun to do, even if not that many do that there. It's okay to vent, Maddie. It's a good place to vent, sort of, especially because not that many people watch it yet, but they might one day. Yeah, Maddie, she's definitely a spender, and she doesn't think about the consequences ahead of time. So that does happen. All right, so I plugged everything I wanted to plug, I think. Yeah, please be listening to the songs. I think they're pretty cool. Singing is not my job, so I'm not that good at it. And so even for it not to be my job, I'm not that good at it. For putting it out on YouTube, I'm not that good at it. But still, and by the way, especially females or guys with a high voice, if you would like to sing any of my songs, that would be great. Or anybody, even guys with not a high voice, but especially like the Dua Lipa Levitating Baby Stepping song. If you can sing, definitely get in touch with me, coachmoney@gmail.com, and I'll send you the music that I use to sing to, and you can sing to it as well. And I would love to play that on the after show. And it's sounding better. That's great. And even though I didn't write the music, I do make the words fit to it, so that's a little bit of accomplishment. So yeah. So what we do here is we do answer questions. Oh, this first I wanted to show. I did not know this existed. I don't know when they added this, but Debt Snowball Calculator. I don't remember. I think like by the time they added this, I think I was already out of debt, and so I never like specifically looked for it. And I just happened to notice that this was one of the options under the tools because I opened the investment calculator, because sometimes there's questions about that, about how fast can you do that. And so I have the investment calculator ready to go if there's a question about that. Choose a debt type. Interesting. Balance, minimum payment, interest rate. And then you can put an account name in there, household income, additional payment. So there you go. I saw a clip today where a female caller and her husband make $95,000 a year. And Jade asked them, what was their snowball? How much extra are they paying on debt a month? And she said $150. So, and Jade said something like, of course. The Queen of Sass said something like, that ain't gonna cut it, girl. All right. So yeah, so be looking for that if you would like to look at that, especially if you can use it. I'm sure it's great help. The Ramsey stuff is based on the 7 baby steps. Is the rules for it. It's based on basically common sense, and also there's a lot of biblical scriptures that back up the main tenets, the main ideas of it. But you don't have to be any particular religion to work in. You can be what is that? Agnostic. That's no religion, right? Anyway, so but it still works. All you have to do is follow the freaking steps, and it still works no matter what you believe. Oh, also Merry Christmas. I didn't tell anybody Merry Christmas. It's in 16 days. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all the things. Just be happy, wherever you are. Baby step 1, save $1,000 for your start emergency fund. Baby step 2, pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. And baby step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And now these first 3 you do in order, one at a time. Steps 4 through 6 you do in order, all at the same time. And so there's stuff like that that's not spelled out in the list itself. So there are like some like extra stuff that you wouldn't necessarily know, but like even if you just use common sense and did one step at a time, you would still get there. And so although investing 15% is eternal, so if you stop right there, that you're never done with that until you would, if you're in retirement and you need all your money and you can't continue investing it, then of course you can't stop investing, but otherwise invest, and then that way you make more for your heirs, or if you don't like your heirs, some great charity that you believe in. So step 4, invest 15% of your gross household income. See, it doesn't say that either in there. So that, and that's why having a coach can help. Or you can find me a lot in the Ramsey Show YouTube chat. A bunch of other knowledgeable people in there. They'd be more than happy to answer your questions. So just come by there. Or if you need somebody for fellowship, because everybody else is normal. We people doing this are not normal. We're abnormal. It's abnormal to not do any debt. That's abnormal. That's weird. So, and the way to combat that feeling is to you got to embrace being weird. That's how it works. So again, step 4, 15% of your gross household income into retirement. Step 5, save for your kids' college fund. Now, if you don't have kids, or if you don't want to help them, if you want them to make it on their own and you feel very strongly about that, then you can skip 5. So that one is definitely optional. Pay off your home early is not optional, and this optional, and that's a sticking point for a lot of people, because like if they had their mortgage for a while now, then it's going to be way lower interest than the interest rate is now. And so they're going to try to do debt leverage, which is instead of pay their house off early, they're going to invest more than 15% to try to make a little bit of interest. And a lot of times when that's compared, they forget to subtract out the interest that they're paying extra on the house by keeping that longer. And so you gotta if you're gonna be a math nerd and do the math and try to think you're winning, you gotta do all the math, even the math that works against you as you figure life out there. And step 7, build wealth and give, and that's definitely eternal as well. That one never stops. So a lot of people ask, what's step 8? There, build wealth and give covers all of it. So there you go. Again, 1, 2, and 3 in order, one at a time, and step 4, 5, and 6 in order at the same time. All right, and so we'll refer back to the baby steps as questions. Get there. All right. All right, so we go to reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And I pointed this out on the after show, this new banner here. It says, community has a recap now. 2023 is over. Not so fast, my friend. That would be false. It's December 9th, so last time I checked, there were 22 more days to go. So, just saying, it would seem like a simple calculator would prove that wrong. And you would, a calculator, gosh, I'm losing my mind. Hashtag dementia. Sid is right, I do have dementia. All right, so, but I do remember to sort by new here, so we get the newest questions 47 minutes ago, posted by ZZ9XX66VV33. Wonder what all that nonsense is about. Boo, boo, boo. All right, is anyone else on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, but still has a negative annual budget? How is that possible? Spending more than you make, I guess. 32 categories in my annual budget. Maybe you want to lose some categories. It's the most detailed annual budget I created. I constantly update it. Too much probably. However, my annual budget is negative $3,910 per year, saving only 3% into retirement for a company match. No Roth IRA in my budget, making minimum mortgage payments on a 15-year fixed. I wonder how old this person is. I assume 0 overtime in my annual budget. That's fine to do, but you gotta live under the budget. Realistically, I have an average of 57.23 hour weeks over my first 300, almost 4,000 days at my employer. Varies greatly depending on business needs. Okay, that sounds like that might be able to easily over a year make up $4,000. I don't feel super stressed financially, but I acknowledge it's a bit pathetic of myself because I have 0 kids and 0 pets. Yeah, you're not, you're just buying anything you want, seems like. Just me, no roommates or significant others, so you don't have to argue with anybody. Ridiculous. House mortgage payment is only $7,700. So what are you spending your money on? Take home after Social Security. Oh, you're already retired? Okay, well, in your case, maybe you don't get the cut. Well, you're not retired. You said you're still working. Right? Let's see. At my employer. Oh, the realest guy I've had. Yeah, okay, this is all over the place. So you're getting Social Security, but maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's a past family members Social Security. I don't know. Don't know about that. This is all over the place. Straight from Dave Ramsey, where I'm putting it. Just a classic overthinker, and I'm one too, but I am nowhere near this bad. Straight from Dave Ramsey, where I'm putting extra money in a brokerage account. Yeah, you're doing it wrong. Until it's near historic high and high enough to pay off my home in one check. That's dumb, because you don't know when that's going to happen, and you could lower your mortgage interest by putting that money into your mortgage instead. So my emergency fund is $10,000 checking account and $10,000. See, you can't do bonds for an emergency fund. So yeah, you're doing everything here. You're doing is wrong. So this where your budget is negative $39.10 a year. Guess whose fault that is? Yours. So you trade from Dave Ramsey. Okay, well, if you want, it's your money. if you want to stray away, but then why post here and ask about it? Maybe he just wants company. He asks, is anyone in this situation? Doesn't say how to get out of it. Doesn't ask how to get out of it. A lot of people don't want to get out of their situations. I still try to prioritize my Roth IRA. He said there is none. You said there is none. So this is either major trolling or the guy is just all over the place. Assuming it's a guy. Only 3% into retirement for a company match. No Roth IRA in my budget. So where's the Roth IRA? See, it doesn't not making sense. So I don't know what to tell you. The advice, of course, would be, oh look, whoops, wrong one. I'm going to close that. There we go. This one. This would be the advice right here. You're doing it wrong the way you're doing it. So, alrighty, let's see what this is. In case people are confused, the big expenses that are not needed but very high quality are healthy eating, personal fitness. Okay, you can make your decision. You can make your budget however you want to. It's none of our business. You don't have to follow Dave Ramsey's advice. This is your choice. This is volunteer. Nobody's going to make you. Don't want kids, don't want, that's great. So I don't going, what does that mean? Look forward to that. Okay, nobody cares, dude. It's fine. You do you. No need to ask for other people's, experience. Why do you need somebody else to commiserate with? Especially on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, if you're not going to follow Dave's advice. Although I'm sure those people are here. Just like you have hate watchers of the show, I'm sure you have hate Redditors as well that just follow this just to crap on the advice or just to be negative in some other way. Life is too short for that. Go seek out the debt leverage YouTube streams or the debt leverage r/debt leverage. I bet there's a thing in there. Alrighty, put mystery, but I don't have any other comments on that one except say you get to choose. You don't have to follow Dave's advice, but as you can see, you're complaining about not having enough and your budget being constantly. Also, you don't have to think that much about it if you're just gonna not follow Dave Ramsey's advice. What you want to do is, if you're gonna follow Dave Ramsey's, not gonna follow his advice, is you just don't pay attention and do whatever you want to, which is basically what you're doing. I mean, you're trying to think about retirement and such, but you're doing it wrong. You're doing it your way and not the way that has been proven to work millions of documented times for the baby steps. Millions of documented success stories, and no other financial advisor is anywhere close to that. Wife wants to move. I am hesitant. Baby step 2 flare. My wife and I have cut out eating out completely for the last few months, and I've been using the money we saved to pay off debt. More than one debt. We still have a long way to go with 9K camper loan, 6K car loan, and a few credit cards totaling out to around 5 to 6K. Like, this would be a good example. I mean, you can sell the camper and rent a camper when you use it. How many times do you use the camper? But like a 6K car loan, I mean, depending on the rest of your debt and income, I mean, that's just something you can buckle down by not eating out, and you can just pay off, and that way you can keep that nice car that you like instead of selling it and moving down in cars. And a few credit cards totaling out to around 5 to 6K. Our rent right now is $1,000. And our house is getting a little small for us, but we get to find just fine in my opinion, comma or semicolon there. My wife would probably disagree. She very much wants something bigger and nicer that's very common. We're hoping for a decent tax return as we have 4 kids. 4 kids, it depends. If you have 3 bedrooms, the kids can share a bedroom and they'll be fine. They will grow up fine, I promise you. But I was exempt all year as I have in the past. And her the last few months of the year, she just started working in roughly the last 3 or so. So I'm not entirely sure what kind of return to expect. You don't want to expect for a high return. I understand that, like, now that the end of the year is over and you've already, what does that mean, exempt all year? If they didn't hold out any taxes, then you won't be getting a big tax return back, not a decent one. I have some decent friends over. That's from Raising Arizona. But yeah, the idea is that you don't want to overpay the government so you get a big tax return, because that's giving them an interest-free loan. Whereas if you had that money throughout the year, you could already have had some debt paid off in general. So you can do better with your money than the government can, trust me. So you don't need to give them a tax-free loan, interest-free loan, excuse me. I'm of the mind to stay put until debt-free, right? Great, you got to work that out with her, not us. Because the low rent is unheard of in this area, especially for a house of our size. Yeah, and that could change when the lease agreement is up. Small as it is, property has 3 bedrooms, so that's fine. 1.5 baths, that's fine for 4 kids and 2 adults. There can be 2 kids to a room. It can happen, promise. 1.5 bathroom, 795 square foot, 4 plate. That's not that much, but again, you want to pay off debt, or you want to go live high on the hog, or you want to go back into debt. It's not time to buy a house when you have debt and not a full emergency fund. Oh, let's see. Wants to move to a place where rent is $2,400. Yeah, which I feel will just serve to significantly slow down your progress. Yes, it will. And you don't want to do that because you also got moving expenses, etc., etc. So you want to tough it out until you get your current debts paid off, and then get your full emergency fund. And at that point, you can save separately for moving, and then you can move if you can afford that rent every month. Looking for opinions. Just gave them. I'm the type that has no issue, delaying gratification. When I try to explain my logic to my wife, she feels that will be the answer forever. Yeah, I mean, women, especially moms, a lot. Don't take this the wrong way, ladies. Don't come after me. But I feel like, because I'm the same way with logic, I try to let logic rule today. And that does not seem, I mean, I've met some females that are incredibly logical. And so that can happen, but I feel like it mostly doesn't. I feel like I'm on a reality show doing like the talking head segment where I go, for me, I feel, yeah. So, alrighty, let's see. So it can happen, but generally the wife would feel nesting and such and just wants everything to be better for the kids. Sure. But you don't do that at the expense of your financial well-being. If we wait, we will, and if we wait, we'll never move to a nicer house. No, false. By waiting, by doing this stuff, you will be able to move to a nicer house sooner, and you will be able to keep it. If you follow Dave's advice as far as how much house to buy, and without debt and a full emergency fund, then the house will be a blessing instead of a curse. As a man, I want to please my wife, of course, with a nicer house for our family. But your logic keeps jumping in and saying it's pretty stupid. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Chevy Chase on vacation. Especially how much work she has been putting in and money she has been bringing in. Yeah, that's great. But my gut says stick to the plan. That's a good gut. And we'd be better off in the long run. The kids are 10, 7, 5, and 3. And we are 32 and 29. All of y'all are babies. All of y'all are just babies at 32 and 29. And the kids are even they're babies. So any opinion, advice is welcome. I've given it. So yeah, I think you follow, again, the advice that, it's even got a nice, they made it nice for you. And as I always like to say, the baby steps here in order for your convenience. So they made it easy for you. They made it easy for you. And it wasn't always like this. When Dave first started giving advice, he just said the different things, not in any particular order. And then people always kept asking him, well, what do I do first? What do I do first? And so then he eventually developed the order of operations, should we say. At least for Ramsey. All right. So yeah, so I get what she wants to do, but the responsible thing, the best thing for the family, best good thing for you guys financially would be to chill, pay off the debt, get the full emergency fund, and wait on house. And then it will be a blessing, as I say, and not a curse. Okay, Zen Lantern, TARDIS Wealth Strategies. The TARDIS Doctor Who. The TARDIS Doctor Who. Has anyone heard of TARDIS Wealth Strategies? Yes, I have heard of it. I don't remember where I saw it, but I sang the same song as soon as when I did at that time. If you have, what are your thoughts with them? I wonder if it's a reference to Doctor Who. I couldn't imagine. TARDIS is not that common. I don't think it means anything else. I don't know. The whole bigger on the inside thing. That's what she said. All right. But if that's just it could be like financial planners. That could be just investing professionals. Don't know. All right. Article on Dave's advice. Other people weighing in. Great. Just like I weigh in on your questions, and I weigh in on money guy advice. I've done videos about that recently. So let's see. With all the drama recently on the 8% withdrawal, it wasn't really drama. If you don't know what happened, basically a caller mischaracterized a George video where George was saying what people want to do with FIRE, fixed income, retire early. And they want to retire early at 30. And the basic advice for that is to only withdraw 4% a year. And that makes sense because you don't have the longevity of being in the market for more than 10 years. That's only 10 years of market, which is not enough. And so his advice is don't do 4%, don't retire early either. And so that was his advice on that. But I guess as soon as George said, now the FIRE people, the retire early people, they only want to take 10%, or they just take 4% is what they want to do. And then he just stopped the video right there and didn't listen to any of the rest of it where George says, do not do that. So it wasn't, and then so the caller told on the air, told Rachel and Dave that about George's video saying that, but didn't mention that George said don't do that. He never butted in either after Dave started going in on why that's stupid. So let's see. The ultimately key point is even though Ramsey may draw a lot of criticism from financial advisors who analyze his recommendations from a mathematical and technical perspective, he is very effective. Oh, interesting. In helping a large number of people to change their financial behavior for the better. Right, particularly those who need to get started on a substantially different path than the problematic one they're currently on and may feel stuck on. Yeah, is ability to help people modify their behavior, may not rely on optimal advice from a technical standpoint or a mathematical standpoint. It is all behavior stuff, but guess what? It still works for everybody, even the people that can handle credit cards and can handle debt leverage. Guess what? Even those people don't need to have credit cards and don't need to do debt leverage in order to be very successful using Dave's advice. So everybody can use Dave's advice. You don't need to waste time. Well, let's just see if I can handle a credit card first, and then we'll decide if I can have it. Because of course, it's so once you get used to using credit card, it's so easy to quit, right? All right, so yeah, people just don't think about this stuff. Alrighty, baby step 2, how to apply the snowball when your loans are deferred. If you can't make payments on them, make payments on them. If you get to them, if you can, I don't know if you can make payments on those or not. If you cannot, put the payment each month in or save up the, if you have a lump sum available to pay them off, you can put that in a high yield savings account and then take it out once you can pay them. Extra income to the lowest one of the two, and not worrying about the other due to no minimum payments being required, but it still is accruing interest. That's why you should pay more on it. But you pay the lowest one off first still, so that you should be doing, I would be putting a little minimum payment in there at least the amount of the interest, at least, and consider that the minimum payment. I've heard that you can find a minimum payment on your statement, but mine doesn't have that due to the deferral. Well, you can see how much interest it's getting probably. So that's what you should do on that, and you should consider that the minimum interest. Or if you can just pay off that lower one really, really fast, then just do that and don't make any minimum payments on that one, and then you'll be to the one that is that no minimum payments are required. Then you can get to that one faster. So that would be the thing. A lot of people like to try to like finesse a way around and stuff, and do all kinds of math to try to get to an answer. But why can't the answer be just pay them both off as fast as you can? All right, baby step 7 flare here. Credit card miles is a scam. All right. Mother passed not too long ago. She was one of those types that ran every payment through a credit card to get miles on either American or Delta. As a result, I inherited 140K miles. I didn't know you could inherit those from Delta and 50K miles from American. Looking to plan a trip to Alaska next year. That isn't enough to get to there from Alabama on American. Barely enough for cattle class on Delta. Cattle class. Oh, how dare you. How dare you. It's called coach. It's what most people travel. I wonder how much money the banks made off of her for giving her so little. A lot. Indeed. But, all the credit card people are just, they just pull into that justification all the time. All the but I get miles, I get rewards. All right, yep, and you're spending more. Been proven. Might be a couple people that keep their spending to just what they would buy anyway. That's what everybody says, but is that what everybody does? Doubt. Baby step 2 flare, trade down cars that just pay them off. Now, if it's $6,000 and you make $60,000 and you like the car, just pay it off. But we'll see what the situation is. Knocked out the credit card debt. Excellent. Whoops, wrong one. Almost played the wrong one. That would have been knocking out credit card debt. Since you still have other debt, you only get that much of it, but still, That's great. You paid off credit card debt. Woohoo, exactly. And are now left with just our two vehicles. 13K on 2020 vehicle and about 15K on our 2018 vehicle. I've been considering selling one of them. Great. And getting a 5K car, but unsure if this is the right move. Well, that would make you not have to spend 13K or 15K. You'd have to spend a 5K, so that means you would save 8K or 7K. No, 8K or 10K. Do the math right, Steve. Yeah, 8K, you would have $8,000 extra that you wouldn't have to pay off. You would have $8,000 left or extra. No, less debt to pay, because that loan would be gone if you sold it, or that one $10,000 less debt to pay, and because that loan would be gone if you sold it. And that's even taking out the 5K replacement car. So technically we can afford the payments. Being able to afford the item and afford the payments are two different things. Being able to afford basically the car, like if you didn't have these cars already and were going to buy a 13K car, you would have to pay $13,000 in cash for it. Is how you can know you can afford it. Not that you can afford the payment. That's not being able to afford the item. Two different things. And I can continue to pay hundreds of dollars more every month to pay them down faster. Yep. Hesitant to sell the cars because the type of car I can get for 5K is likely a 20-year-old car. Yeah. That would potentially break down sooner, need more work than the 2020 vehicle. It's possible, but we just don't know. That's the dice you roll. That's the dice you roll. I've just driven very old cars for a long time, and I have pretty good luck, I will admit. And so I probably shouldn't say that out loud, because I'm sure my car won't start next time I try to start it up. So just for me saying that. Whoops. But we should theoretically see, you don't know any of this. You don't know any of this. You don't know if your car won't be done tomorrow for whatever problem. It might need something that makes it totaled. You don't know. But of course you could buy a $5,000 car and you could have immediate problems with it and it could cost a lot of money. Sure. So, but that's what you have to choose what it is, because you don't know that you think because you've had it already and it's newer that it's going to cost you less. And on the average, that may be true, but not necessarily. So you can't really go by that. But, it's your money, so you get to choose. I also travel frequently for work, likely I have 15, 20K miles a year for my job. Yeah, that's a lot. So, you can consider that as well. Also travel frequently. Oh, I already said that. I'm afraid that if I trade Dane, I will just be getting a car that will break down soon. Anyways, you already said that. Repetition. And I will now be in a cycle of buying 5K cars. Does that really save me money in the long term? Yes, if you end up paying more than 13K on your vehicles from the time that this would start breaking down and the time that so you can't really say, because you don't know the future. So you don't know if it will really save you money in the long term. Generally, newer vehicles probably break down fewer times. But you can't go by generally, because yours is just yours. And what's going to happen with yours is different than it's going to happen to mine, which different it's going to happen to Sid's, which is different going to happen to Texas and everybody's. Key underscore ad underscore 528. Buying a second home 100% debt free. Well, that's good he said 100%. So that means a second home is going to be a toy. So that means, guess what? 100% in cash is how you buy that. 600K saved for a perpetual operating fund. Okay, I don't know what that means. We don't need the money for retirement. All right. If you say so, I'll take your word on that. We would spend 4 months each each year in this home, plus sporadic. I hope not sporadically. That's from Clueless. My son needs to see that. Hasn't seen it. Hasn't seen Pulp Fiction either. Some kind of father I am. Our kid, I've tried to get him to do it. He just likes to play video games too much. Our kids are growing and aren't interested in using this home. We're absolutely not interested in renting it out. Sell it then if you don't. Why can't you just stay at the other one? Do you need to be in two places? A lot of people do like to do the snowbird, where they live in the east, in the north, and then they go south for the winter like birds. The $1.5 million saved is earning $75K a year in interest, okay, which we have no purpose for. I'm sure you can think of something. A $900K home will hold its value relative to inflation and be worth $1.5 million in 20 years. Is buying a second home a mistake? Well, if you're going to use it as much as you got and as much as you can, and if you're trying to justify getting a mortgage for it, that's not going to work. No mortgage. But if you're paying cash and it's not going to put a dent, not going to make a dent, and you don't need the money for retirement, if all that's true, then you have developed a wonderful situation there. And you can do what you want to. You can buy things in cash. You can do what you want to anyway, but it just wouldn't be with Dave's advice. Dave's advice is toys are fine, but you do have to pay cash for them. So that's the only caveat. And as long as you have, and nothing can go wrong with the we don't need the money for retirement. That's fine. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. Didn't say how old, didn't say how close. Kids are grown though, so not spring chickens probably. Yeah, at this point in life, you don't really have to try to get a hedge against inflation by buying a house. The reason to buy a house is you want to live in that area for a long time, and even if it's like you said 4 months and sporadic visits other times, that means every once in a while. So yeah, so it just depends. 50 comments there. I'm sure all that went the whole gambit of no, don't do it, and do it, and maybe he explained about the retirement thing, maybe not. Should I wait until baby step 6 to pay off my house? Yes. But you may be pausing on 4 and 5. Oh no, if you have a car loan, you're on baby step 2, dog, so you're not even close there. I was gonna say, if you're like on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and you are investing 15%, but you're putting a lot of money away to kid college, and the kid was just born, then you can chill on that and pay off the house, and then you'll still have plenty of money for the kid to go to college. And you can still put a little bit away every month for the kid to go to college, and because that's how the market works. Putting a little bit in every paycheck, and then it grows and grows and grows. Purchasing the house. Okay, it grows $255 a year. That's fine mortgage there, because the let's see, net on that would be what, maybe $225, maybe something like that. So, but still, that's still way under the amount that you can get for a 15-year fixed, and the payment be 25% or so of your take-home pay. So that is a fine one. The interest rate, not great, but that's what you're going to get now. But you don't wait for the interest rate to be great. You get the interest rate, and then if it goes down to 4 or so, then you can refinance. So that's fine. You buy a car. Read that right there. You buy a house when you can afford it, but you don't buy a house if you have debt. So car loan about $45,000. Absolutely not. You're doing it wrong. You don't buy the house. You're doing it wrong. So you're not following the baby steps, because the baby steps are, you know, and it doesn't say in there don't buy a house, but that is one of the things that you would have to, like, read a book or something. You don't have to buy it either. A lot of people complain about, oh, I gotta pay to make my finances better. You don't have to. You can get it from the library. So following the baby steps, I would, or if you aren't going to start them until you buy the house, maybe something like that, but you're doing it wrong. Yeah, following the baby steps, I would buy the car, not buy the house, and then start saving 15% for retirement, then save for kid college. Don't have kids yet, then that doesn't apply, so you wouldn't do that. Then I would pay off the house. Right now, what you would do, if you were going to follow the baby steps, if you thought about following Dave's advice, it would be to pay off that car now, right now, if you have down payment, with the down payment that you have for that house. $45,000, 4.5 years left on it. Crazy. Cars only in cash, kids. And guess what? Probably you could not afford a $50,000+ car, and so that's why you got a loan on it. I'm also wondering if I should pay off the house before saving for kid college, because you don't save for kid college if you don't have any kids. There's no need to. I mean, you can have you can have some kind of extra savings, and then that way later you can allocate it however you want to. If you have kids, then to kids college or to something else. $2,100 a month and only about $300 going to the principal for the first several months. Yeah. So, I mean, you're dead set on this house apparently, and so you're doing it wrong. You're not following Dave's advice, so why ask? Why ask? Because you're not doing it. You're not following the baby steps. So, but if you wanted to start, you would pay off the car before buying the house. You would start saving. You would have your full emergency fund. And then you don't have to start the 15%. You can stay out of the market if you need time to save up for a larger down payment. You can stay out of the market for 2 to 3 years and just save a down payment if you need to at that point. So, but yeah, no investing while you have debt, no investing while you don't have a full emergency fund, because those are steps 2 and 3, and step 4 is saving 15% for retirement. And so you're doing it wrong. I need to get that. That's from Mr. Mom. That's several different characters say you're doing it wrong. So I need to get like a sizzle reel of all those. Jedi Fed. I've seen this name before. Inhya. Debt free forever. That's the plan. We did it. And that's what debt, basically baby step 0. Part of baby step 0 is you decide, that's not on here either. And I'm going to make a video about the missing baby steps. Which is 0, which is a bunch of different things, and then step 3B is save your down payment. And so that's where the last question, the last comment, submission, post on the subreddit was asking about because you're going to buy a house. Well, after you pay off that car, after you have the 36 months of expenses and a fully funded emergency fund, then that's where you would save your down payment. So you're doing it wrong. So if you want to do the baby steps, my advice is to do the baby steps and not get a house exactly when you want to, but when it's more smarter. Let's see, we did it. Currently we have $1,141 in our bank account. We're currently in baby step 3 for the very first time. Excellent. Though we won't stay here. That's correct. Oh, we'll be back in baby step 1 per. Why? What does that mean? Next paycheck, we will be in baby step 3 for good with a refilled e-fund. What does that mean? Why do you have to go into debt again temporarily? Feel so much better. Having an emergency fund back at Christmas time. My budget goal is to draw it down to around $700 by December 21st and be at $2,000 December 21st. What does that mean? And now baby step 1 forever. Spent $59 over budget. Oh, is that what you're talking about? because you had to do debt on $59. So well, here's what you do: you don't have it, you don't go into debt, and you just don't spend that $59 extra. You don't do that. So you set a budget for Christmas, and you don't start thinking about Christmas December 1st. You plan that way in advance, and you plan how much you're going to spend, and you don't go over that. And a lot of people say, how do you stop things from coming up? And well, unless it's an emergency, it coming up is not a good reason to change anything. Now, you can change your budget whenever you want to. You can have a budget meeting. If it's just yourself, you have the meeting with yourself, and you can change it at any time, sure. But in your case, it was going to cause you to take money out of your emergency fund. And so 100, I still don't see why that would put you under $1,000, which is back in step 1. You would still be in step 3. If you have over $1,000, you're still saving more. So wouldn't recommend going over the 59. And that's how you train yourself, by doing stuff like that. Not saying, well, I have an emergency fund. Christmas is not an emergency. You spending $59 over budget isn't an emergency. It's you making a mistake by choosing to do that. And so you have to. A lot of people throw had around. I had to. No, you chose to. Just say you chose to, and move on with your life, and follow Dave's advice if you want. Don't follow it if you don't want. Forgot to go back to the what up, A9, how is life and stuff. That was 20 minutes ago. I apologize. I did not go back to the stream chat after I played the, which one did I play? The bad one or the good one? I think I played the good one. The Price is Right. Winning sound, I believe. Zesty Clothes, put 1645. Not doing anything is the toughest part. 34 male, single, make 210K a year gross. After many years of overspending foolishly, I decided to get serious about a year ago and began budgeting and saving money. I ditched the Mercedes-Benz lease, excellent, bought an older Toyota Camry cash. I now have the following: 25K emergency fund and a high yield savings account. That is fine if you have immediate access. No 1 to 3 day transfers for emergency funds, because guess what? Emergencies aren't going to wait for your 1 to 3 day transfer. Emergencies happen right now. 11K in a brokerage account, not recommended unless you can't put any more in a, okay, they have a 401k as well, so that's extra. So if that's 15%, fine. If you have a mortgage with a FMV and 150K, yeah, so only 15% in retirement investing while you still have a mortgage. Doesn't matter if it's a 2.7% rate, like I said. So the 2.7% rate and your brokerage account, so whatever the brokerage account is making, you have to subtract the 2.7 from that. And so you gotta consider all the math, even the part that works against you. I realize the math is there, just need to keep budgeting. Maxing out retirement accounts, investing. Not maxing out, no, you need to do 15% while you have a house, because otherwise that's debt leverage, and that's not Dave's advice. So, is not to the cash. What do you mean? Is take the cash and go buy a new car or spend on a different nice to have item. I'm going to stay the plan because I realize what I have to do to change my family tree, but you're not doing it if you're maxing out retirement, and the max is not 15%. With some cash put aside. You don't have any cash put aside except the emergency fund, and the emergency fund you don't touch. So are you talking about your 11K in the brokerage account? You can do that every time. Yeah, I would. If you want to spend that, I got a great way you can spend that. You can take the 11K out of that brokerage account, and you can put it on your mortgage. Pay off your mortgage. Follow the baby steps if you think Dave's advice is worthwhile. Or you can do what you want to. It's free conch. All right, Douglas 1. Sorry I missed you. A9. I know it's late there. Sorry, I just forgot to put the other TV on the stream chat after I played the music. Is it hypocritical to invest in companies that are part of the credit card industry? Every mutual fund seems to own companies that are part of the credit card business. How can I in good conscience profit off the same industries that Dave is constantly railing against? Well, you have to sleep at night, so you do what makes you sleep at night. You know, some of those, you know, some of banks do credit cards as well. They normally do it like through, you know, offer MasterCard or Visa credit cards, but they do credit cards as well. And so mutual funds can have banks in it as well. So you just have to, I mean, people are gonna, whether you have mutual funds in it or not, that have it in it or not, and they're generally not anywhere near the highest earners on there. So you can look for ones that don't have them and compare them, but it's all about you sleeping at night, my friend. And so if you can sleep better at night without investing in mutual funds that have credit card companies in them, then you go right ahead and do that. Where's Dave? Reap 1101. He's a little thing called on Davecation, and Mod said he might be, and Mod never likes to give you 100% assuredness on everything. He's probably seen it because it changes sometimes right before the show starts. The host on it changes due to schedules and whatnot. And so, but he said maybe middle of next week for Dave. So it's possible. He was in Egypt the last I heard. Okay, I did these on the after show, but I didn't do all of them. I still got some more. Done about an hour now, and we'll be probably do an hour and a half. I did that one. I did transfers. Yeah, wherever you see when you see the light blue, that means I did those already. And I think here's the part that I did not do. Yeah, Rebel Moon, I might watch that. This was a rejected, basically a rejected Star Wars script, and for like the sequels and or Disney Plus series, I'm not sure which, but and so Zack Snyder decided to make it himself into a different thing instead of it being. So I'm sure there'll be Star Wars type elements in there. Alrighty. Useful cockroach. Late. Does that mean life? Career financial advice. Late. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I don't know if maybe I'm not hip enough to do that. But if that's something, I'll Google that afterwards and see if that's a thing, and I'll start doing it. I'll put a hashtag in front of it and everything. Say I won't. All right. Immigrant female, 25 years old, been in the U.S. 7 years. Welcome to America, best country on earth. Soon to be a first-time mom. No fam support, just me and my fiance. Make minimum wage. Got my GED in 2020. Hope so far I painted the picture good. I'll give you a break in case your native language isn't English. So, but I painted the picture well. We have a mortgage and our car loan for less than $13K. Okay, I'm assuming the car loan is less than $13K. I'm sure, don't think both of them combined are less than $13K, because that'd be excellent. Which is $300 a month we can grindy to pay our bills. However, really didn't and don't have anyone to look up for to build a career. Paging. Ken Coleman. Paging King Coleman. I don't know if it's worth to study for a degree. If yes, I don't know which major. It's not worth it to do student loans. If not, aside from 6 years of customer service, I really don't have work experience. Trying to pick up coding skills and see, yeah, if you can do that, if you have a knack for that, or you can pick that up and do that, that would be great. But because you do these coding boot camps, that kind of thing, or if you're learning on your own, you're not guaranteed a job. So I just don't know how this works here in this country. Well, your fiance can tell you if your fiance is from America. But if not, you can certainly try the coding stuff. Like I said, you don't want to invest too much money into something that you don't know is not going to have a return. So you should definitely check into that more, because you're just not guaranteed a job if you do a coding boot camp, that kind of thing. So if you can prove that you can do it, then that's a different thing, because I would think, because there's always coding needed, I would think eventually you would be able to get a job, but it's going to be hit and miss on all of this stuff, and so there's no hard fast advice for that. So it just depends on what the degree would be in, which major. So if you're not interested in anything, if you're not already interested in something, a major that you would want to do, and you would be doing just a major for the money, that won't necessarily work either. But again, you don't know student loans for anything. Everything has to be paid for in cash, even the coding boot camp, and that's how you do it. And you just get out there and make it work. 25 years old, just a baby. I know it doesn't seem like that when you're in it, but it is. So you do have time to fail still at things while you figure out what you're going to do. So if you are a technical person, you pick up technology very well, then sure, try coding skills and do that. So probably the 8 was I'm changing my mind. I'm thinking the 8 was a mistake instead of some cool new thing the kids are doing. But maybe I'll start it. #late. Thanks to those that are watching, much appreciated. Say hey in the comments. Important. Next 7591. Interesting. 22 and considering bankruptcy, just a baby. Don't do that. I mean, people have declared bankruptcy on $1,000 before, and that's just not enough money to declare bankruptcy. I'm lost. Admittedly, I had a spending issue in other things more than just bad financial decisions to cause me to get where I currently have. Yeah, so bad financial decisions plus a spending issue, that can put you behind the 8 ball, certainly. Behind the late ball. Having fun with it now. I have so much fun. Even if nobody watches, I would still do this because I have so much fun doing it myself. That's what she said. 109K mortgage, 2,200 in credit card debt. Yep. $24,000 in personal loans in 2027, upwards of 55K. So, so they're not due yet, so you don't count it yet? They still get in student loan. Cybersecurity bachelor degree, hopefully. Currently make 50K a year welding. Okay, so hopefully either through welding or through doing cybersecurity that income will shoot way up so you can pay off the freaking student loan debt. So, and it depends on what the student loans are, whether they are bankruptable or not. Could a second job solve my issues? It would certainly help, and you're 22. Better to do a second job now than when you're 32 or 42 or 52. Trust me, I know. I'd really like to keep the house. Admittedly, my current budget isn't so good because of eating out a lot instead of cooking at home. Well, see, you know all the things. You already know the answers to all of this. So, Bankruptcy doesn't fix your behavior. Fixing it fix your behavior. Going through the struggles and the sacrifices of paying this crap off, that will change your behavior. Bankruptcy, the quick fixes don't change the behavior. Just like that's why Dave calls them consolidation loans, because one, they make you think you've done something where you just move the debt from one place to the other and actually added to it, because most times there's fees with that as well. Or the companies that you turn over all of your bills to, all of your debt to, and then they handle it. And how they handle it is they keep your payments and let your loans go default, and then they settle them for cheaper. And guess what? You can do that all by yourself. You don't need to pay them to do that. You can keep your money, not pay, and let all your debts default and go into collections, and then settle them for less. You can do that yourself. So you don't need to do that. But yeah, donate out a lot, cut spending to the bone. You said you had a spending issue. Make sure that's over and cut everything. Just work 2 jobs. All you need to do is work at 22. You know, I mean, if you're thinking about, well, what about now? What about having fun? You've already done that. You've already done that with your debt. I mean, some of it is on a house, sure. You know, and that's an asset, sure. And if you like the house, great. So kick your butt in gear, get that second job you're thinking about, and pay it off. All right. Did Dave Ramsey used to be a writer on Saturday Night Live? It's Dave Ramsey, first of all. Baby Step 7 player. By Baby Step 7, you should know the man's name is Dave Ramsey. Probably just a typo. I don't think so. I don't know if that's Dave making jokes or something like that, or somebody that works there that looks like Dave. I don't know. Not clicking on a link. Boom, boom, boom. What is a from Ratty Rusty 1? What is a quintessential Dave Ramsey video to show a busy family member in need? I mean, you could show some of the debt-free screams. You could show, there's some Financial Peace Live videos on the internet, some of them not on Ramsey Solutions channel. There's like an old one that where he did part, where they showed part of a Financial Peace Live on Fox Business, and somebody recorded that, and that's on there still, I think. So I mean, you could find different stuff. Find something that you think is a good overall representation / something you think that will change their views about money, and do that. And that's all you can do. My brother runs a food business in France, and this is what I'm talking about. And had to take out a 30K loan. No, he didn't. During COVID to survive. No, he didn't. Chose to. Just you know, that's what you wanted to do. That's what you chose to do. Just own it and say chose to. Didn't have to do anything. People don't have to do anything. He's now paying $1,000. I mean, you know, maybe you lose the food business. That's fine. So, you know, I mean, it's not, if you have to take out a loan to save the business, then it's not self-sustaining, and so it's not doing well for you. So I'm worried about his health and stress levels. Sure, recently married. I mean, but you can just be a good example yourself, and tell of your experience with the baby steps, and then and just be a good role model. That's basically all you can do. But a lot of times, especially parents, other family members, they don't want to hear from you about financial things, especially parents, because once they change your diapers, Dave likes to say, they don't want to hear from you about money or sex. Let's see, I know the Dave Ramsey way could help him massively, of course, everybody, and reduce his stress and allow him to live peacefully again. Yeah, financial peace. Absolutely. He's been talking about heart attacks like he's going to have one. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much in advance. Alrighty. So yeah, just whatever. I mean, you know him. Just what you think will motivate him. But like whether that's whether that's just like just watching a episode of the show. Dave might be, according to Mod, back middle of the week from Dave Cation. So maybe just the show, maybe some live FEU. Some of their other live events are on the highlights channel, the Ramsey Show highlights channel. You can go on there and find some of the previously live streamed events that they've had, or like the FPU live that they've done, and you can find some clips of on the internets. If you're in good shape yourself, you can. Well, he's in France, so you can't have him have his own FPU account. Because it's in France, and other countries don't like the fact that it's Financial Peace University. They don't like you to disparage the university by not having it be an accredited institution. Although I'll accredit it right now, but they don't ask me. Let's see, what time? 6:17. Yeah, we'll do at least 15 more minutes, sure, or approximately. Sweaty Measurement 837. Baby steps 4 and 6. I'm officially debt free. Saved my emergency fund, and now in steps 4 and 6. 4, 5, and 6. Oh, 4 and 6. Got it. 4. Investing 15%. Currently doing this. Okay. Of gross household income. But no RRSP and Canada A, because my income isn't enough to benefit from it, so I used a high interest tax free account. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so the RRSP, I believe, is their equivalent of the 401k. And if you got to make enough income to have that, I don't know why that. You would think the high. See, people don't think about it's high interest, tax free, sure, and that may be. I don't know. That may be the same as where we would say Roth first before 401k if there's no matches first, and then a Roth account, because there's no tax on the growth, and the 401k, of course, would be no tax on the contributions. Now the contributions are going to be a way lower amount than the growth, and so you want to pay taxes now on the contributions and then not have to pay any taxes on the growth. And so that's apparently what this high interest tax free account is, I'm assuming. But I don't know Canada A. Where's CP when I need him? Chris Pittman, paging Chris Pittman. I have no children, nor do I plan for them, so no step 5, right? You just skip on over that. 6, pay off house early. This seems like a very slow process. Yeah, well, if your income isn't enough to benefit from our equivalent of a 401k, then yes, that's an income problem. We did the step 3B and then bought a home. All right. Hopefully you have step 3 done, the full emergency fund. There's very little chat about the step on Dave Ramsey unless people homes are like 200k. What about for people with the plus 600k houses? Well, nobody told you to get a 600k house, but you do it the same way. It just takes you longer because guess what? It's a $600,000 house. I'm looking for that. Give me now. Any comments and advice and connections would be great. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say about that. If your income isn't high enough to benefit from the Canadian equivalent of a 401k, then you can't afford a $600,000 house, is what I'm gonna think. So not from Canada, so I don't know about these particular accounts, and so I don't know if there's anything that's different in them. But again, I believe the RRSP is basically equivalent of 401k. Might be a couple differences in it. But yeah, so if you have low income, then you also probably got a 30-year mortgage. I don't even know if they have 15-year options. And so the 30-year mortgage allows you to buy too much house, and banks will 100% of the time loan you more money than they common sense should. They will always do that. You know why? Because if you default, that doesn't hurt them, because they get enough in fees and foreclosures, et cetera, where it makes it up for them. So you're not hurting them by you defaulting on it. So that's why they're more than happy to give you too much money all the time. So you need to get that income up or sell the house is what I would think. But again, not knowing if there's any Canadian specifics. Where's Minnie when you need her to jump in with the Canadian point of view? Or CP could probably, if Chris Pittman could probably tell me if he was watching. Yeah, so I don't know. But speaking of the Canada season, the final season of Letterkenny is December 25th on Crave and December 26th on Hulu. And so all the episodes drop on those days on those respective streaming platforms. And Letterkenny is about a small town, people in a small town in the Canada. I forget which province, but and that's why I say out all the time now, because of listening to them. I watched all 9 seasons, I think, so far. I think I watched them in like 3 weeks or something, like 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. And so that's why I say out all the time instead of out. Every dollar app, cash income, PWC slave. Hi all, for direct deposits coming in, I can assign that to one of the income line items. But how do I manually assign income in the form of cash to a line item that I've created for this type of income source? I don't know. I don't know how to use every dollar app. I didn't spend much time with it. I just didn't like it. I went back to my spreadsheet. So I don't know that you can manually assign something to a line item that you have created for that. So I don't know that you can do that. So I don't know. I know that there are tutorials on the Every Dollar website, and Rachel Cruz does some on her Rachel Cruz show. Again, perhaps full Rachel Cruz song coming on the next after show, which is December 19th, 2023. That is a Thursday. Forsaken ad 5159. Baby step 1 flare. Where to put it? That's what she said. Wife and I are going to start baby step 1. Excellent. That is the best one to start after step 0. And I talked about that before. Step 0, it is multiple things. Like the most important thing probably is step 0 is that's where you decide to not use debt for anything ever again, except to buy a residence to live in. Buying a house that you're going to live in, not a rental property on a mortgage, is the only debt that Dave won't yell at you about. Also, he won't yell at you about, and he will even recommend a smaller loan to replace a larger loan so you can get out of an underwater car, because that's equivalent paying off debt by doing that. Anyway, so, but yeah, baby step 0 is you decide not going to use debt for anything anymore. And even if, and you don't let there come up anything to say, I had to put it on credit, all right? Had to take out a loan. No, you chose to do it. You don't have to. So you decide that. What else is in there? The 4 walls, you take care of those first before you start baby step 1. That would be shelter, transportation, food, clothing. And, you know, clothing is you have decent stuff to wear to work. That's your clothing. You don't get to, you know, go to Prada or where, I don't know if Prada sells clothes or just accessories. I don't know. I don't know about that, but you don't get to go high on the hog on clothes while you have debt. So just as long as it looks nice, if you have holes in something, you know, wear it if it's just around the house. But if it's something you would wear out, then, you know, you can buy a new one of that, or a cheap version, a cheap knockoff of a version of that kind of thing. So you got to be very frugal with that. Also, my pal Sid likes to include internet in the 4 walls, and, you know, everything's done on the internet these days. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't know if Dave would or not. Let's see. What else? Getting insurances into place. That's part of baby step 0. Insurances, 4 walls, deciding not to do debt anymore. Oh, you get current. So if you're behind on any debt payments, on any minimum payments, if you're behind, you get current as well. So that's 4 things. I'm trying to remember if there's something else as well. All right, so let's get back to this. I feel like keeping the $1,000 in cash in the drawer at home. I feel like Dr. Laura, because she's every time one of our callers would say, I feel like, and she said, I don't care about how you feel. What do you know? And so I feel like keeping the $1,000 cash in the drawer at home is the best option. Yes, Dave tells a story about a lady that bought a picture frame, and she has it in the back of the picture frame, and that picture frame is in a closet, in the back of a closet. So that would seem to be pretty safe, that kind of thing. Is keeping it at the bank better? I kept my $1,000 emergency fund in the checking account with all the rest of the money. Just didn't go into it for emergencies. Just didn't have any emergencies, fortunately, very fortunately, or we're able to cash flow them. We don't earn interest on our account, and it's way too easy for us to move it over to spend with smart phone transfers. So what's stopping you from getting it out of the drawer and spending it? So, I mean, granted, there's a different layer of you having to go get the picture frame and undo it and take it out of there, that kind of thing. That does make it a little bit harder than just grabbing it out of the drawer. But, I mean, you do whatever you got to do to make you not spend it. Because you don't spend it except on an emergency. And, like, for example, Christmas presents, the $59 over that we had in the one thing, in the one guy's comment, that's not an emergency. Christmas is not an emergency. You've known about that since December 26th last year. So, Merry Christmas, everybody, again. All right, let's see. A little agua 4 days ago. What? This is what? Mouse Cop 95. That could be a great Pixar movie, probably. You're welcome. Send me all the royalties from that. What to do with new income? Prioritize retirement or save for haste. 28-year couple. 28-year-old couple. Okay, so before reading it, you save for a house if you're on baby step 3B. You save for the down payment. You start doing retirement if you are on step 4. So you can do step 3B, which is save for down payment, and 4 at the same time. But you must be at the spot where you have paid off all your non-mortgage debt, which you don't have a mortgage. So you paid off all your debt and you have a full emergency fund before you do either of those 2 things. So let's see. So my fiance and soon-to-be wife, his fiance, that again, I think I did Raising Arizona earlier for finance. or maybe it was something different. And soon to be from that movie. And my wife and I are getting married in 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, maybe. Wedding costs are covered. Great. Hope you didn't go cray. And she just finished her PhD a few months ago. Awesome. That's one more than I have. And has been interning at a financial firm where she just accepted a full-time position beginning in January 2024. Excellent. Talk about a happy new year. That's great. So our income after the wedding, getting married, and a new job, everything's coming up. 28-year-old couple. So our income after the wedding is about to jump significant, and neither one of us has ever really seen this kind of money in our lives. We are having difficulty deciding on where to put our money. More specific, whether or not we should fully max out our 401ks, HSAs, since my wife was living off $30K a year in New York City. That's a trick in itself, and didn't really have anything left over each month to save for retirement or contribute the suggested 15% or less to retirement savings. That both of those are an option, and focus on saving for a house in an extremely high cost of living area, which would require a sizable down payment. Okay, yeah, so if you're staying in New York City, that financial firm has to be paying New York City wages. So you cannot buy a house in New York City or even near there without a high cost of living salary. So you got to have that as well. And so let's see, I also want to say that I fear some might think this is a brag post. No, a lot of people do. But people that are making more money, and they're not right now. They're not right now. She lived $30K a year in New York City. She's not living high on the hog. So even with already interning there, don't know if that was paid or not, but $30K a year, they're not living high on the hog. It doesn't sound like to me. But regardless, and a lot of people think, oh, well, they make $100,000 a year and I don't, so they shouldn't have any problems. That's not how it works. The more money you make, the more stupid decisions you make with money, usually. So you know how much debt you have with the amount that you make a year. So they make a lot more, and so guess what? They may have had a lot more debt too. So it's all relative. So I don't understand the people that can't relate to it. Just can't think outside of their own situation is what the problem is. So you need to be able to think outside of your own situation sometimes. 2, retirement savings and focus on saving for the house. Streamline. Oh, we already did that. I also want to say, I did that as well. Brag post. That's what got me off on that mini rant. But we are genuinely looking for some help and guidance since we really don't have a solid place and plan yet. Immigrant families, great. Working class, Lord loves working people. Neither of us family of money. And right, so the general advice would be live like broke college kids. Still, live like broke college kids. She needs to live on $30K a year still. Or less if she's not currently living with you, and then you'll be living together, so that's split expenses after marriage. So let's see. Worked hard for what he accomplished, great, especially fiance, moved overseas away from family and completed PhD on her own and managed to do so debt-free with zero help. She's a superstar, absolutely. Here's the breakdowns. Income $335 to $365. And you know what? I don't even know if that's enough for New York City. I don't know. Oh, New Jersey taxes are so high. Take home would be about $240,000 on the low end. So $241. Yeah, I mean you're not doing bad. $241. Let's use my pal Sid's 2.5 times take home pay. Is what house you can afford, so that's going to be what, $481, and then half of that, $120. What is it? 481 and 120. That's 5. So like $600,000. And that what is that what is that what he said? Did he say six, or did a different post say a $600,000 house? I think the different post says $600,000 house. So, I mean, you can afford it, but you got to be able to afford that payment on a 15-year fixed. So, but theoretically, you should be able to do that. High yield savings account, checking, brokerage, retirement. Okay. Was it minimum match? Now, what you can do for the 401k, even though she may not get start getting first check until in January sometime, you can still contribute to last year's 401k and last year's Roth IRA and even the HSA, I think, until tax day 2024. So you can still max it out for that year, and you can max it out for this year, 2023, and also for 2024 up until tax day of 2024. Debt should, okay, so here we go. Now you're not buying a house until this is taken care of. You didn't say you had debt yet. So I was praising these kids, and that's still pretty good situation to be in, a good shovel, and so this should be able to be eliminated shortly. Oh, so you have a condo mortgage already, so that would have to be sold or paid off and sold, that kind of thing, any combination of thereof. But great that there's no credit cards or student loans. That's great. But the car loan, lump sum in a few weeks after the wedding, right? Okay. Whatever cash gifts we've received. That's excellent. That is excellent. Not that you have the car loan at all, but that you are, instead of spending money on a trip or something else frivolous or something else that you just want, you are paying off your car debt. That part is excellent. So yeah, definitely do that. Mazda CX-5 we plan on keeping for many years. That's great, because basically it's, like you said, a few weeks after the wedding. So in January, next month, it'll be gone. So great. Okay, and at that point, then you can start thinking about, first you need the, they say the brokerage might be part of the high yield savings account, and the brokerage, get the money out of the brokerage if it's, especially if it's single stocks, and do a dedicated emergency fund for the both of you, which needs to be 3 to 6 months of expenses. Probably before you buy a house, I would have a 6-month emergency fund. Now, if you're just a single person living on your own and renting, and no mortgage, that kind of thing, 3 months is fine, but I would have a 6-month emergency fund before buying a house. And of course, you do have to have your big down payment. So now, and that, they can still have a $600,000 mortgage as long as the payments are manageable. Because that should be under 15%, so that should be manageable, especially once you don't have a car loan anymore. And a mortgage, the condo, again, you sell that the same time you would buy a house, and then you apply any equity to the new house as well. So that would need repairs work is about $600K. Okay, you can go a little bit over than that. Better neighborhood with better schools would probably be more like $800K. You also can wait. You said you do plan on having kids in the next 1.5 or 3 years. You can wait. Prices may not go down, but interest rates may. Not for sure, but they may. But you can save up a $200K down payment and still get the $600K house or $600K mortgage and still be able to easily afford it. So yeah, you just keep your lifestyle the same. You don't go crazy, which you're not doing. I mean, I would assume that would be easy to do for somebody that is applying whatever cash gifts they receive to a car loan for one of the two people. It's probably not in both of their names, so it's just one, and they're applying whatever cash gifts they receive as a couple to that. So it seems like same page, and so it seems like they're fine. Oh, so we're really struggling with the idea of only putting 20% down. Yeah, you need more than that. If you're going to buy an $800K house, you do need more than that. Your mortgage payment does have to be around, would be roughly $5,000 a month on a $650K house, which we don't like the sound of. And the only way you're going to get that down further is to, and hopefully that's on a 15. If that's on a 30-year mortgage, then you can't afford, and you can't afford that, then you can't afford a $650K house. So it's got to be wherever you can get a 15% mortgage on. And yeah, you just spend the money on saving for the down payment instead of anything else, which you can also stop doing investing for a while you save up the bigger down payment faster. You can stop any retirement savings. You don't take out what you already have, except maybe the brokerage account, because that's not tax advantage. So there won't be any, you just have to pay taxes on it, on the capital gains, but you don't have to pay any penalties for that. So you could put that $12K towards the down payment as well. Every little bit helps. And so, so do we save more than that, which will require most likely pumping the brakes on retirement contributions so we can save faster than the house? Yes, that's what I recommend. Just feeling a little lost, save that money in a high yield savings account, brokerage, checking, or other type of a house. Now, it's not going to take you 5 years, or shouldn't take you 5 years to save up $200K, or whatever the amount is that you need. So not safe being in the market, so no brokerage on that, but high yield savings account, fine. You just do have to be able to get to the money when you're ready to buy a house for that. So that's what the dealio on that is. That took a long time. That's what she said. And I went over. I always go over just because I love doing this so much. All right, let's we'll go to, so we'll do the 17 more minutes and do a 2-hour show. I think one time I did a couple weeks ago, like last month, I think I did a 1-hour show, and that's just because I had the pandy. Finally got the COVID, as people know, because I was coughing my head off. Mato 0801. Should I pay off my house? The answer is yes. You should pay that off early, and that way you pay less interest on it. 33, own a home worth, just a baby still, 33. On a home worth $320K, doesn't matter the interest. 28 more years, the 30-year mortgage, boop, 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 doo. Not good. That allows you to stretch it out for more years to buy a bigger house, and you get charged 15 more years of interest. So don't do that. 220, 221, whatever it takes. That's for Mr. Mom as well. In addition to the you're doing it wrong. I have 130K in various retirement accounts. 15K emergency fund. 220K in high yield savings account. Recently quit a toxic job and now work a part-time job making just enough to meet my general monthly bills, including mortgage. My plan was to invest the 220K and continue myself. Coast fire. I don't know what coast fire means. Don't know what that means. But I'm reevaluating. My monthly bills are around $2,500 a month. Does that include that mortgage payment? I'm looking for a new job, but it's a struggle, and I find myself not excited for the interview nor the prospect of working a corporate 9-to-5 job. That's because you've been thinking about retiring when you're only 33 years old. I mean, you can do that anytime you can afford to retire. Can you afford to retire? Not with what you said you have. Thinking maybe paying the house off and reducing expenses by around $1K. Yeah, you do that. And that way you don't have, even if you retire early, then that's a bonus because you don't have that $1,000 payment a month. My then monthly expense would be $1,500, right? Which you could basically then get any job to meet my current lifestyle. Okay. So yeah, you can do that. Should also mention no other debt. That's a big one. So just the house, yeah, that's it. So just the mortgage debt. So yeah, you can do that. Pay the house off. Owe the exact amount that's in the high yield savings account. Imagine that. Okay, so not paying it off is using debt leverage. Not advised. But yeah, so just pay that off, and then that frees up $1,000 a month, and that $1,000 a month you get to keep. So as to look at your other plan, if you didn't pay off the house, it would be to invest the $220K in the market. Well, you can't do that in a retirement account because it is subject to penalties and taxes too. I think if you retire, if you take the money out before your retirement age, my friend. So that would be a problem if they're in tax advantage retirement accounts like 401k and Roth IRA, or the, what is it, 407b, 403b, that kind of thing. So yeah, those are tax advantage accounts, and you get hit with penalties on that if you take it out before you are retirement age. And the taxes as well, because I don't think you get the benefits from that. So you can't do that. I mean, so even if you put 220 in just a brokerage account, making 10% a year, that's $22,000 a year that's bringing in. I wouldn't feel comfortable with 220 income. I mean, you could maybe get 22,000 from the interest on that average. And since you're just starting it though, and you don't have like any years built in, basically you're just getting that. That's not growing. That's going to be that every year, unless there's a down market, and then it's going to be even less. This is the problem with the retiring early deal, because like George said in his video, then you cannot take out 10% every single year, because that's not sustainable, because it's going to be down sometimes. It's going to be down sometimes. It's 10% average. And so right when you decide to retire, it could start having some down years, and then all of a sudden your principal's going away. So you don't want that to happen. So basically the answer is you're not ready to retire. You can't afford to retire under this scenario. So pay off the house, work longer, get another full-time job, reassess it, at 37, 40, reassess. Then maybe at that point you can afford it. But start making decisions based on that's what you want to do, and then you stop putting money into retirement accounts. If that's going to lock up all your money until you're 59 and a half without those serious penalties. So you just need to be able to plan for it. And of course, as I said on many videos about it, you don't know what your expenses are going to be at that time. So your projections aren't going to be right. Just like Dave said after addressing the caller's mischaracterization of George's video. Dave Ramsey's watch. I'm sure it's a fairly expensive one. Wouldn't surprise me. International diet. 35. Baby step 3. Car suggestions. The cheapest one that you have checked out by your mechanic, not the dealership that's selling it, not the person that's the individual that's selling it, not his mechanic, but a mechanic you choose, taking a look at it. And you can ask the seller to take it to your mechanic, and they will charge you for that look-see. Some places offer a free look at used cars in hopes of finding something that's needs work and that you'll use them for the work. So some car repair places do that. Maybe step 3 flare, so no debt except maybe mortgage, and they are saving for baby step 3. So 2017 took a dump with a transmission issue, would be the second time, but should be covered under warranty. Great. We plan on selling this worthless piece of garbage. If it's covered under warranty, fix it and still use it until you get baby step 3 done. I looked up the Kelly Blue Book value for base models and condition. It looks to be worth around $5,500. So what would be a decent car to go for? You don't know. You don't know. So here's what could happen. You could have that transmission covered under warranty and then never have another problem with it for 10 years. You could buy another used car that's about $5,500 so that you're not out any extra money if you can sell that car for that much. And then that one may break down the second day or even the first day, who knows? Or that one could have no problem for 10 years. We just don't know. So with cars, you just have to have a mechanic you pick, look at it. So, you know, not a biased mechanic, not the dealership, not the one that is the seller's mechanic, but a mechanic that you pick. And I mean, that's the best you can do on that. But you don't know what's going to happen with either car, either the one you have that is going to be, transmission is going to be fixed or replaced under warranty, and or any other used one that you would buy. You don't know. She wants something with a third row. Not needed. Not needed. 2 kids. You can have. There are spaces for 2 human beings in the back of a car. You do not need a third row. You do not need a minivan just because you have 2 children. So that is we had to get a minivan. Nope. Oh, she doesn't want. She's not in favor of minivan. And of course, car payments are not an option. Of course. For some people they are, but not for you, hopefully. So that's the dealio with cars. One never knows. Thanks again to people watching. Much appreciated. Prize painting 3525. Fresh 8 of college. What do I do? You work and you pay off any student loans. Yeah, 200K. Yeah, you go to work. No other debts, but also no other savings. Okay, great. Work. Live like a broke college student. Put all that money towards minimal living expenses like a broke college student, and all the rest of it goes to the student loans. Current plan is to move back home. Dave likes adults to live on their own, but that's his advice. You, of course, get to do what you want. Around 6 months to 1.5. Now a lot of times I like give people a problem and say you're not following the baby steps. Now for that kind of decision to move back home and living with your parents, you can still follow the baby steps if you do that. And so the not living with your parents after you're an adult is just a Dave preference because he prefers that. So I wouldn't call that being Dave-ish because it's not against the baby steps. So let's see. Living at home allow me to have no expenses, rent, food, right? That's awful nice of them to pay for rent and food. During this time, what else should I be doing to prepare myself for the rest of my life? Have an end in sight. Dave does say that too. Have an end in sight for freeloading. So should you be putting everything into student loan payments? Yes. Second job, starting emergency fund. Yes, second job. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Second jobs as well. And you put everything into student loan payments unless you want to move out as quick as possible. And then you would do the balance between them. Starting emergency fund. You don't have really you said you won't have any expenses. So you don't need an emergency fund if you don't have any expenses. Definitely have one before you move out, definitely. But right now you don't. So I would probably, if you're committed to staying the 6 months to 1.5 years, if they're fine with you and you don't have any problem with them, I would put it all into student loan payments. If something happens where that situation changes and you have to move out earlier, then you would, of course, do minimums to the student loan payments and then save up money to emergency fund and save up money to move. No retirement while you still have debt. That's step 2. Let's go back to it, shall we? This is in order, again, for your convenience. They put it in order just to make it easier for you. Step 2, pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. And it doesn't say, oh, if you want to invest, go ahead and skip to step 4. No, it doesn't say that. You must have, to follow Dave's advice, you must have step 1, 2, and 3 done in order separately, one at a time. And then you start step 4. If you're saving to buy a house, you would do that step 3B right here. Trying to get off their, parents have done so much for me and trying to get off their payroll as soon as possible. I see. So that, again, if you want to do that in quicker than 1.5 years, then you would move focus to that instead of the student loan payments. But I would have the emergency fund and save up money to move before you move, and also hopefully by that time you will have at least a good chunk of the student loan paid off before you do have to do that, if you commit to doing that. Otherwise, you also could not move back home, and you could do what Dave would prefer you do, is be an adult and live on your own. So that's what Dave prefers. Not a baby step though. So you're not, I don't call you Davish if you live with somebody while trying to pay off your debt and trying to progress on the baby steps. Outdoor living space worth it. I've got a house now worth $1.2 million. Here's one of these, if this person called, people would say it's a prank call. People would say, oh, I can't relate to these rich people. I have about 800K in equity. So it means, I guess 400K on it, something like that. It's a nice house, all brick. It's a brick. You knew that was coming. House. She mighty. Okay, sounds great. Ground pool lined with pebble tech. How about that? Around the pool is concrete under the patio. This sounds like a renovation or something coming here. Under the patio is stamped concrete. I wanted to upgrade. I promise I didn't see that. I promise I did not read ahead and see that. Not even out of the corner of my eye. I promise I did not see that. So it was too much explanation about the pool foundations and such. It was too much. So I knew that was coming. Upgrade the area with travertine and some pavers. Pay off the house first. Total cost without outdoor kitchen. Is that what travertine is? An outdoor kitchen? With outdoor kitchen, another $25K. I have no debt, only the mortgage on card paid off, but I got a daughter going to college soon, 3 others in the waiting. So yeah, step 5 would be before. Addressing step 5 would be before your little thing that you don't need here, the thing that you just want. So pools included, but you already got the pool, so great. But pools included, pools, travertines, pavers, whatever this crap is. Outdoor, I guess paving stones, is that what that is? Outdoor kitchen, all that is a toy. And so definitely you pay cash for that. And you do that after you have all the other baby steps addressed. They don't have to be finished. Step 5 doesn't have to be finished. They at least have to be addressed. But that kind of thing, I would not do cosmetic renovations or for fun upgrades until the house is paid off. Because you're leveraging your house by doing that instead of paying it off. Thought it would be a good idea to modernize the backyard, make it look nicer. I'm sure it looks great like it is. I'm sure it looks better than the yard I'm looking at out of my window. I'm positive. I was told it actually add value to the home. Okay, so thought it would be a good idea to modernize the backyard, make it look nicer. I was told it will actually add value to the home. I don't even want to read the next part. But this part here, I thought it would be a good idea to modernize the backyard. I was told it would actually add value to the home. Doo-doo! All aboard! We're entering justification station. I was thinking of getting a home equity loan for the project. Is this a good idea? Here's my answer. That would be a negatory good buddy. I gotta be honest. To be honest, you don't have to ever add that. You never have to add that because we will assume you're being honest unless you bring it up, and then we'll say, well, why did he have to give the millennial disclaimer here? With the honestly, I'm posting this up because I absolutely hate spending money on something like this just to make the house look nicer. It doesn't sound like you hate it, dog. It seems like you like it. Seems like you want it. Otherwise, why would you post it? I think you're fronting. This is what the kids call fronting, or at least they did back 100 years ago when I was young. They call it fronting. And I think he darn well wants it. When it probably won't even add value to how much I enjoy the home or add value to the home. Don't do it then. Oh, people are nutty. People are nutty. Be more logical. Alrighty. Rules for buying a car at step 7. You pay cash in full, and your total with everything with wheels should be no more than half of your annual income. Yep. So, okay, so I'm thinking about the things with motors should add up to only 50% of your income. Yes. Is this gross income? I think it's gross income. But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, that's, it's a guideline. So it's probably not that much either way. And if you're in step 7, you're supposed to be spending some fun money too, so you can buy a car, a little bit more expensive car, and not go on that vacation that year, that kind of thing. So if you want to be frugal, make it be take-home income. Are there circumstances where spending more than this can still be financially responsible? I would say not really, no. If so, what are they? Because it's too much money for a darn car. It's just a car. You're going to work half a year to buy a car? That's ridiculous. Now, granted, I'm not a car person. I don't love cars. I love that they can take me from A to B, but that's all I need them to do and all I expect of them. I don't care if they have dents in them. I don't care how well they run, as long as they keep running. It's fine. So I'm not a car guy, so I'm not going to give you the answer you want to hear if you're a car guy. But there are no circumstances when spending more than that can be financially responsible. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case, even if you have $400 million or $4 million next $4 million net worth. Now, if you have $400 million net worth, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want. At that point, you've earned the right and don't have any debt, and you have $400 million net worth. Knock yourself out then. In that case, and buy whatever car you want. On me. Well, the advice is on me, not the $400 million or whatever the car costs. Too long didn't read. This is a Schwab ad. They make it look like it's a post so people read it. Glau. What time is it? 9:05. Always go over. Yes, because I love it so much. All right. And yes, I didn't put it back to the stream again. All right, so still got people watching. That only encourages me, folks. Glau, mortgage payoff, thoughts please. Yes, do that. Seriously contemplating paying off a mortgage. Retired, 65 years old, not working part-time for Nave. Okay, my monthly Social Security payment is $2,000, but I earn $1,600 after paying for Medicare and supplemental health insurance. Okay, so that comes out of the $2,000, so there's $1,600. I wouldn't say you like earn it, but you earned it for paying into Social Security. Actually, not even that, but you did pay into Social Security, so you can kind of consider it like that, but it doesn't even really work like that because you're not necessarily guaranteed to get all of your money back. But then now other people are working and paying for your Social Security check. So same. So I don't know if I'd go so far to call it earning right now, but anyway, probably not worth arguing about. Just something I thought of. See, I told you I'm an overthinker, just not in the way that a lot of these people are. I have about $1.3 million worth of stocks and $170,000 rollover IRA. My wife will retire in 5 years and probably receive the same Social Security payout I do. Mortgage payout on our home is currently at $245,000. We have held the mortgage since 2012 at a 4.2% interest rate. The net proceeds for our home would be about $970,000 if we sold. You gonna sell? We'll not do that. Definitely mention it anyway. Last year there was unnecessary information. I think we'll see. Last year there was it's not. See, here you go. It's not realtor. There's no A between the L and the T. It's realtor. Realtor. And you definitely should not be able to have that job unless you can say realtor. It's not realtor. That approached us and said she represents a client from California and would offer $1.5 million cash for our home. I said, no, our home is not for sale. We truly want to stay in our home. We live in Nashville area. Okay, right next to that. So you could go ask Dave, go to the show one day and ask Dave or one of the other hosts if he's still on day vacation. And you can ask them about it. You're right there. You're right. Just drive over to Franklin and go there and ask Dave. But let's see. So didn't need to know that probably about how much is it. How much is it worth? Oh, that's why they mentioned the thing. Net proceeds for the home would be $970. Okay, and so if you add that to the mortgage pay, that would be 11. That would be 12, 15. So 1.215 million, and they're offering about $250,000 more than than you would make off of it, than based like the estimated value. If you were thinking about selling, I would get it appraised for a more accurate thing, but probably you're using like Zillow or something like that to see what it could be sold for. And so I would definitely get that. Is there a number where it would make it worth it? You got to think about that. But if you don't want to sell, you're pretty sure you don't want to sell, then don't look into that at all. And then, yeah, just pay it out. Pay it off. So individual retirement account, is that a Roth IRA? That's a Roth IRA. You can't take that out until retirement age without serious penalties. The $1.3 million in stocks, especially if it's single stocks, Dave would tell you to sell off that, or at least enough of that to pay off the house. And you know when he would tell you to do that? Not tomorrow, not next week. He would tell you to do that today. T-A-D-A-Y. Today. All right. Baby step 2 flare. Celebrating a win. Kiyo Fury. Paid off our biggest student loan today. It was our big end of year goal, 61K, a bit over a year, and knocked out 8K in the last 2 months alone. I used to think we'd never make it out. Still have 2.5 years ahead, but we will get there. We have definitely been bit blessed. Excuse me, not blessed. That's a different thing. Any more to that? No. So paid off our biggest student loan today. Does that mean you have another big loan other than mortgage? I wonder what the 2.5 years is. 9 comments. Let's see if he says what the rest of it is. Debt reduction calculator. Okay. No, it doesn't say. So I don't know what the next 2.5 years is. If it's the biggest student loan, theoretically, it's the biggest non-mortgage debt. And then that should mean that step 3 is in order, which is full emergency fund. So, and that should not take 2.5 years. So I don't know what the dealio is on that. But congratulations on paying that one loan off. So if you're doing it out of order, you're doing it wrong, but congratulations on that anyway. Oh, yeah. So are you like me? You're probably not, but I'm sure there's at least one more nerd somewhere that every time they see the 2012, they think that's the first of the Avengers movie, because every time they flash back to that, it shows like on the screen 2012 in big letters. And they have done it in multiple series. They did it in the last one, the Secret Invasion one. They did it in, I don't think they did that in Loki. They did it in Hawkeye as well. And so that's all what I always think about all the time, 2012, because that's the year the first Avengers movie took place. All right, Nick Steve 11. Got part of your name is great. Starting financial peace in January. Excellent. Hey, so as the title says, my wife and I will be starting financial peace in January. Excellent. I just had a question for baby step 2. Okay, I have an answer. I plan on knocking out baby step 1 very quickly. Excellent. That's how it should be done. So my wife has about $40,000 in student loans, and I have about $27,000. So we have $67,000 in student loans, right? Married, so French. Oui, oui, oui. Her loans are broken down into 2 loans of about $20,000 each. So those would be our last debts when we reach that point of baby step 2. I mean, whatever. If you're going to follow the baby steps, I wouldn't quibble with you about that. But if it's different loans, those both should come before the 27,000, and they should be considered 2 different loans. But if you are trying to group those into 40,000 and have hers be at the end, it's all our debt. So I mean, if you're going to follow the baby steps and pay them off as quickly as possible, I won't argue with you about that. But technically, it should be the 2020 and then you're 27 if it's only in one loan. All right. Since they are largest and mine are broken down into 2 to 4K loans. Okay. So you're doing it right there with yours being first, even though that's 27 and it's higher than 20. So you're trying to do 2 different things here, opposite things. Illogical, Captain. Her loan provider is asking if she would like to go into the income-driven repayment plan. I don't think there's a need for that unless there's some advantage to you. Since we would be paying just minimum on these loans for the next 6 to 12 months via debt snowball, haven't done repayment calculator. Should we ask for the lower monthly payments or just leave it as a normal repayment plan? Because you should have it paid off before it would be become effective for you. So unless there's something I'm missing about why that would help you, I don't know. Instead of giving you an opportunity to string it out longer than it needs to be, and so that's not helping you. So let's see if there's anything else in here. Assuming if she applies, you would be accepted. Okay. To what? Oh, for repayment plan. I got you. The upcoming year salary jumped by 8K, but they wouldn't ask for a reapplication until 2024. So what should I do if I'm filing days principals? You just pay it off. You don't worry about what little programs the government has, which doesn't seem like it would make that much of a difference. The income drive repayment plan would free up more money to knock out our smaller debt, or is it not even worth it? I don't think it's worth it. Unless there's some big monetary gain that I'm missing on this, I don't see what the difference is. Pay them off quick as you can. All right. Pipe honker, baby step 7 flare. You definitely effed it if you do this. I'm not clicking on that. Too long didn't read an ad for a furniture company. Encourage people to have it equals finance. I got you. Punchline finance isn't a dirty word. Depends on who you ask. I bet if you ask Mr. Ramsey, I bet he would say it is. Oh, salt. At 861. What would Dave do flair? 27-year-old helping immigrant parents in a restaurant. Okay. What would Dave do flair? Okay. Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all. Not y'all. Sorry. I added that. Been living in Arkansas too long. With some savings, we purchased a small business restaurant during the beginning of 2022 for a decent price. Now, we purchased and helping immigrant parents, that doesn't go together. If you purchased, you're doing it together, which you shouldn't buy any business or anything else with family members or friends or anybody else. You shouldn't be buying businesses like that. Because guess what? Any one of the people or all of the people except you can bounce and then you'd be stuck holding the bag. With some savings we purchased during the beginning of 2022 for a decent price. Yeah, maybe Pandy related, maybe went out of business or something like that. Related to Pandy, although 2022, good ways into it. Both of my parents are first generation immigrants, okay? Through sheer grit and work ethic, having worked factory jobs for 16 plus years in Canada, that would be the country up north, the Great White North, my parents have done a fabulous job transitioning to the restaurant. Great. We gained more business than the previous owners despite having no restaurant experience prior. That's great. I mean, you hear that all the time. I'm sure there are degenerate immigrants, but you hear so much about great work ethic from immigrants. And most of them are thrilled to be in the United States. They work extremely hard, even more than they did at their factory jobs, in which they already clocked numerous overtime hours. But at the restaurant, they sometimes grind till 2 or 3 a.m., only to begin at 11 a.m. for opening the next day. Yeah, that's how you got to do it when you have a small business. Okay, so what's the dealio? Only human to feel. It's only human. You're supposed to make mistakes. Billy Joel song, Only Human. To feel empathetic to them as their son, I try to do my best in helping with small tasks. Okay, so when you said we, I don't understand that. If you meant we, meaning your parents bought it, then you helping them out is great. If you bought it, you probably should be working there if you help buy it. Let's see, I have to be at the restaurant. I have to be at the restaurant at all times because they don't speak English at all. Didn't think ahead on that one. Not even unless they thought ahead and they said, oh, son will be here. not even able to take a simple order on the phone. Yeah, so my lifestyle is to be there 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. Again, if we purchased it, that's your fault. If they purchased it and they expect that of you and you don't want to do that, if you do that, that's your fault. That's boundaries. Paging Dr. Cloud. Paging Dr. Cloud. He wrote a book called Boundaries. As a master's graduate, this is somewhat okay, as I don't have any courses to take anymore. Maybe you could get an engineering job and make more money. One could say it's boring, but since my family has never seen income like now, orders coming in provide a dopamine rush. Sure they do, especially on a busy weekend evening. The double-edged sword of this rush of money making is at the heart of my question. Is money enough? Depends on what you want. You have no social life, no friends really. If you want social life and friends really, then you can't be their immigrant to English dictionary. Then you have to make other plans for that. They have to hire somebody else. Hopefully you're getting paid for being there. Having been shy in university, that means college to us Americans. And of course, having a little time to dedicate to friends, given my existing life. Yeah, I just come home, browse some YouTube, play some chess, combine for 2 hours. Yep, then go to sleep and back at it. Yeah, that is what is called being a business owner. So again, if you helped buy the business, I assume everybody assumed you would be working there full time and even more, because that's how you got to do in small business. But if you didn't buy it and it's just something they expect of you and you have a hard time telling them no, because you're not American, we do a little bit better with the boundaries on that for parents. It's not, you know, a lot of people in other countries have other cultures. They have a deal where it's anything for the parents, and it's not like that here. Like you don't, you don't have to enable in any culture. You don't have to enable parents' stupid decisions. So that's, again, that's boundaries, and so you got to set them. And you have to say no if that's not what you don't want to do. Extremely grateful, great. You keep saying we. Is it we or them? And you are helping them out. Which one is it? So if you're an immigrant too and you didn't grow up here, I'll give you a break for not explaining correctly. But you do still keep saying we, and that may even be part of the culture. You may be lumping yourself in with that, even though you're not involved, renting out the basement, although I keep a rental condo in downtown Toronto. Okay, this is too much stuff too. Trying to do real estate and also having the restaurant might be too much stuff. Financially, we're looking at $300K net annually in Canadian dollars, with very little expenditure, given we eat at the restaurant and I live with my parents. Okay, see? Okay, so I don't know that we bought a house, but your parents probably did. I don't know. If you helped buy the house, then live there. Not advised, but live there. 27-year-old seeing others to climb their respective career. Dave stressed the importance of seeing the sun. Yeah, and being an adult child living at home is generally bad. Yeah, Dave doesn't like it, as explained earlier, as hashtag mentioned. But is there an exception to this rule, such as this case where I'm actively working with my parents? No, it's not. No, it's not. You can still work with them or help them out, as you're calling it, without living there. You could still do that. And that would be more acceptable. Helping them out for free even would be more acceptable probably for Dave than you living at home. And it's not living at home, it's living at their house. Home is where you are as an adult. If you're paying rent somewhere, that's home. Ascending, having grown up poor, my family and I are very frugal. Okay, got that. Not trying to brag. Yep. In terms of solutions, there are 3 that I thought up, and often it's not the ones you think of. So let's dive in and see. Embrace the restaurant lifestyle, focus on, yep, that is one. So keep and potentially taking over after they retire, okay? And that may not happen either. They may not let you do that. They may end up running it into the ground, and there's nothing to take over once you retire. So you don't know. You can't count on that. They may decide to do something else with it. You do not know. So you cannot count on that. So that's a maybe. So it just depends if you want to keep helping them and living with them. If you want to do all that, that is your choice. Okay, use downtime and after work hours to study back my engineering knowledge. Did you forget it? And buckle down to find a 9-to-5 engineering job. Probably would make more money. Probably aiming to sell the restaurant as a transition when my parents retire. If you are left it, if it exists when you retire. I mean, when they retire. So you cannot, again, you can't count on that. So you have to build your life without that being in mind as a definite thing. Hire someone to get the best of both worlds, baby. I know what it's worth. That's Van Halen. Van Hagar, as it were. Sammy Hagar, after he took the singing duties. This seems appealing, but the nature of our restaurant is very tight-knit and requires more than just procedure to run. It only takes a few orders messed up for bad reviews to come in. Yeah, sure. Hurt our business. Wait, see, again, is it their business or is it your business too? Did you buy it too? So it doesn't say that, which of course is our only livelihood at the moment. Plus, it's difficult to hire a full-time bilingual worker at our location. Maybe I'm making excuses. Yeah, you know what? If you didn't help buy it, if you're not a part owner, it's not up to you to make it good. It's fine to help them out if you want to, but not at the expense of your own career if you want to be an engineer. I'm present always at the restaurant, so maybe I'm not looking hard enough for an employee to stand in my position. That could be it as well. My parents urge option 2. Yeah, they don't get a vote. You're an adult. Although overall, I think the message is clear at this point. Any advice welcome. Right. That's the too long didn't read. I wish I had read that one. Yeah. So what I want to know is if somebody else asks him, does he? Yeah. You keep saying we. Thank you, Buckeye Smithy. Go Bucks. OH. Buckeye Smithy, baby step 4, 5, and 6. Some of the financial raises are a little unclear to me. You CK we, and so again, that may be immigrant culture. Could be. Equal legal partners in the restaurant business, right? And the we are looking at, right? And also, did we buy the house or did they buy it? Let's see. We have had a semi-serious fight when I mentioned, #mentioned, we were working for us. They kept insisting that they were working for me. The new house is in his name. Are they paying for it? Oh my gosh, they don't spend a dime unless to buy ingredients for the weekly broth that they like to make. How much are they getting paid? It's all of this shit. Paging Dr. Cloud, paging Dr. Cloud. Major boundaries here need to be put on there. The decision is hard. Yeah, sure is. Well versed in disappointing my parents as I think all children are. Yeah, and you're not going to be able to do that sometimes. Sometimes you have to be true to yourself, saying no, valuable skill to have. Yeah. Option 2 isn't really option without 3. Yeah. Lastly, my point of reference for the past 27 years has always been my parents, right? And it should have stopped being your focus probably about 21 at the latest. So again, if your name is on the, if like worse comes to worse and it came down to you and them, would you still get to work the restaurant and kick them out of working there? Or is it a 3-way deal? So it still doesn't explain. So it's still, yeah, they should work towards learning English. That would be great. Like constantly have Siri Translate going on there, or Google Translate. Saying, promoting Apple stuff. How dare me do that? It's just that we baby this, right? Yeah. So, and again, it's we. Everything is we. But and you can keep doing the we if you want to. But that is, I mean, that's not how it needs to be. It needs to be yours or theirs. You shouldn't be partners with them in it because it only takes one little fight. You already said you had fights with them, so you gotta tread lightly there, and you don't have to keep working there if you don't want to. Is the rule. Alrighty, so we're at 2.5 hours. Oh goodness, let's see. Let me go ahead and do this last one. From K Giggity 7. 26-year-old, no financial background, and 15K credit card debt. Well, you don't need, I wouldn't go as far as saying you need a financial background. You need to stop spending more than you make. Definitely. 26 male, base, 63K a year. Which you're going to make some people mad if they only make 30. Because they're going to say you should not have any problems. But it doesn't work that way. I have around, income does not fix every problem. I have around 1K expenses a month. That's not bad. Including, I mean, that must include rent or mortgage. And $450 in minimum credit card payments. Yeah, so $1,450. Well, I do not cook very often, which is probably my biggest downfall. Yes, it is. Stop eating out. Pay off the credit card debt, and then save a full emergency fund. It's called, Dave Ramsey has this thing called the baby steps. Don't know if you heard of them. Might want to visit those. Working on cooking for myself more, okay? I do socially go to bars and things with friends, but aside from eating out, going out, I don't spend much money. I'm drowning in minimum payments. I should also add that I have 27K student loan debt. That is $170 a month. Any advise? It's not advise. It's advice. Advise is the verb. Like I'm advising you right now to take this advice. So advice, constructive criticism. I just did it for your misspelling there. Is welcome. Thank you. So yeah, baby steps. Easily fixed with baby steps. So you have a decent shovel. So yeah, and it could be way worse than this. So yeah, I would do the baby steps. Shocker. That's the advice, right? I know. Alrighty, that's over 2.5 hours. That's a lot of time, but I don't know if you know. I don't know if you're new. So like the same people that are surprised that Dave would say don't do debt. If you're surprised, if you've watched me for any amount of time and am surprised that I like to talk, then yeah, you should know all that already. That I like to do that. All right. So once again, upcoming streams, that would be this show again almost every Saturday, unless there's a college football game on that I want to watch, or I think some pro games will be on starting this month on Saturday nights. And so unless that happens, though, most Saturdays it'll be, otherwise it'll be Sunday at the same time. But Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that's this show. It's called Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. And the let's see, I also do a Ramsey Show after show on days that I'm not working, which are unfortunately limited to 1 or 2 a month usually. I might get lucky sometimes and be able to do 3 a month, but generally 2 is going to be the most. And I'm doing 2 this month. Did 1 2 days ago on the 7th, and the next one is on December 19th. Email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, if you have any show and tell stuff like Christmas decorations, your Christmas decorations would be great. Anything else Christmassy would be great, or anything else you want to share, you just send a picture and a couple words describing it, or something you'd like people to know about yourself, or or like background of whatever the picture is of. Definitely do that. And that again that's Thursday, December 19th, and that's the Ramsey Show after show, and it's called an after show because it's after the Ramsey Show video, right after the Ramsey Show video ends. And sometimes we address like specific stuff that happened in that show, or specific things that happened in the chat during that show, that kind of thing. But it definitely always has something to do with Dave's advice, certainly. And I also answer these types of questions on that. But I do more stuff. I take a look at the market. I talk about some financial articles that I thought were interesting. I do songs. Perhaps there will be a full Rachel Cruz song. There's a short version of it available now in my music playlist. But I am working. I almost have it done. In fact, just gotta fit some words in with the right place in the lyrics. And so I think I can have that done by the 19th. And so probably debuting it that day. Normally, when I would write a song about a personality, I would debut it on a day that they hosted. But with only doing 1 to 3 a month, I can't guarantee that it'll be. I did the full version of the George Camel song on last Thursday's after show, and then I couldn't do one on Friday. And Friday he co-hosted, so. But I decided to go ahead and do the song anyway. Okay, so that is coming up there. And I'm Coach Steve Money. Also, Curse of Oak Island, No Cap Recaps are every late Tuesday night after the new show comes on. It's in season 11 now. And I'm also doing retro recaps. I'm done doing up through season 4. So I still have season 5 through 8 to do. 9 and 10 are due and are already done. And season 11, current season up to date, is up to date up to episode 4. Alrighty, and so I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. You can email about coaching or anything on my YouTube channel. That's Coach Steve Money at gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. A little bit covered up by my nice watermark there, nice logo that Chris Pittman designed. His email address, if you need some logo stuff done, it's designedbypittman. It is in the description, also in the chat, as all these links are in the description and the chat. Where was I did donations. Okay, add me on the gram. That's at Coach Steve Money. Don't do much posting on there. I always say I'll try to do more stuff, but it's just there's only so many hours in the day, and this is not my full-time job. Hopefully one day that would be the dream. I would love it so much. YouTube.com/Coach Steve Money is the channel, and thank you so much to everyone for the 600 and let's see if it changed. Where is that one? 688. Nope, still 688. So no new subscriber today. But thanks to all 688 for subscribing. That's great. I have over 1,000 videos and live streams on my channel now. Granted, I don't do what they normally suggest, which is focus, like laser focus, like based on the number of watches and subscribers gained from, it would be a Curse of Oak Island channel only. And so, I mean, if I get big enough, I would probably keep this as the Oak Island channel, and then start a different channel for the financial coaching stuff, etc. So, or make that like a personal stuff thing, maybe like a Oak Island and almost everything else, and then just split off new channels as needed, but that may not ever be needed. And I'm at peace with that if it stays like this. No problemo. It won't stop me from keep doing it. Like I said, I like to talk too much. Alrighty, and so thanks again. Please do subscribe if you have not. Please like the video. Please comment. All of that stuff helps the algorithm. And seeing the tree here also, which is right. Nope, it's right there. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, all of that stuff. Have a Happy New Year, definitely. And try to embrace it. Try not to be stressed by, the Christmas season. Stay on budget with Christmas buying. Don't go crazy. Christmas is not an emergency, so you don't go into an emergency fund to buy Christmas gifts. So just try to embrace the meaning of the season, which even if you're not religious, it's a time for just like the goodness of humanity is what it is. And so definitely embrace that. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays to all. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. I mean, I might do it if nobody watched, but it's great to get some views. Again, unlike people that are in the Ramsey Show chat, this one person is like, very few of these subscribers are watching this live stream. And he claims to know YouTube analytics. And most people don't watch the original broadcast or live stream of something. Most people watch it later. You know why? Because they can watch it at any time. They don't have to be available at that particular moment. And so, like the Ramsey Show, for example, is during most people's work time. So, including this reporter. So, anyway, rambling, still talking. It was supposed to be done about 15 minutes ago for a 2.5 hour show, but I'm still babbling. All right, so I'll stop. Said the Merry Christmas, gave the plugs. What else? Okay, I guess it's just, hey, make smart financial decisions every day. And I will see you next live. It'll be next Saturday on Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. Thank you so much for watching.